Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you and thank you, and God bless each of you on this morning. I am Pastor Dorian McIntyre of Mount Olivet Missionary Baptist Church, and I am the faith based leader for the 25th District. Man, I am excited. It is a great day. It is a great morning. We have persevered, we have pressed through. But the beauty of where we are today is that this is the beginning of what is to come, not the end of a training, but the acceleration of everything that we're going to be doing, not just the summer, not just the next year, not just the next few months, or however we want to say it, but until we see a significant change and beyond. So it is our hope. It's our hope today that over these past few months, we have encouraged everyone with practical information to apply as we move ahead toward our goal of building community, building relationship, and loving on one another. We pray that that has been achieved or at least have been pushed into the hearts and the minds of the people. You may have heard me mention before that love creates opportunity and that we should love people not only because we know them, but that loving them is a choice. And because we love them, we get to know them. Let me say that again, because we should choose to love. And because we chose to love them, we get to know them. And when we get to know them, we start to have that relationship. We build that spirit of love and camaraderie among each other. We have asked the following questions, throughout these series to educate, encourage, and empower us all. And in certain areas, we've challenged one another. We have literally done that purposely to challenge one another to get more involved in being the change you want to see in an effort to organize and to equip. Now, we have asked during these sessions, what is your strength? And we pray that we've answered those. I've asked during these sessions, have you been strengthened? And I hope that we have answered that question or at least put our thoughts and minds around it. Today, our question is focused on the thought of being deployed into our varying areas to do the work that God called us to do. So, with that being said, I desire to ask you this question today. And that question simply is, what is our strategy? What is our strategy? I hope our time for these next few minutes today will help answer that question, help put us in position. Our methods are many, but ultimately our success depends heavily on what we're focused on. What we're focused on. So I need us to stay focused on our mission. Stay focused on our mission. And as I go through this, I want you to try to embrace the thought of if we stay focused, we can accomplish anything. And in Luke 14:23, we find these words. He said, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highway and hedges and compel them to come in that my house may be filled. So that is our strategy. Simply put, if nothing else I say today resonates, that's our strategy. Our strategy is to go out and to compel, to allow ourselves to be deployed into action. And coming to this 23rd verse, I want to point out a few things that happened leading up into this. And in Luke 14:1-6, Jesus heals a man on the day that they felt was against the law of the land, that they shouldn't be doing that type of work. And he was on the enemy's turf and he was doing something that could ultimately have him arrested. And when we think about that, we sometimes put ourselves in a position that is not favorable to some, but yet we are executing a work primarily because of the call on our lives. As we stay focused on the mission, remember to take the time to help others get to their next, no matter where they are from, no matter what they are doing, no matter what's going on. Be determined because that action is determined by God and not by man. In verses 7-14, two lessons are taught. We're taught, one, we are encouraged not to seek high place of honor. In other words, don't do the work to be seen or be put on a pedestal, if I can be very direct. Secondly, we are encouraged not to be exclusive about who we want to help. Y'all know how we can be sometimes. We only want to help the people that can help us. Go back and read those verses. That'll make a whole lot more sense. God's kingdom is open to everyone, no matter the social status, no matter the race or the affiliation. Humility is not about self-degradation. It's a realistic assessment of who you are and who you are committed to. So it's a realistic assessment of committing ourselves to serve. Everyone, and I mean everyone, deserves to be heard and invited to the table of love. In verses 15 through 24, we learn of a banquet and an invitation to it and the many excuses that people have in order for them to come, right? We saw these excuses and it pertains to accepting the call to go and to deploy to do the work. Don't get caught in resisting the call to go because the timeline is not convenient. Get comfortable being uncomfortable and doing the work in your community. Let me say it again. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Our excuses may even sound reasonable. We work schedules and we have family responsibilities, we have financial needs and a myriad of other things going on. And many would say we're in the middle of a pandemic and everything that's going on around us. And I'll wait till this is over. Then I will go out into my community and I will make a difference at that time. Well, it's been a year, you all. It's been a year and we're still in that same situation for the most part as it pertains to the pandemic. And the one thing that I have recognized, and I'm sure all of you all see, is still challenging times. Crime is still there. Stress is still there. Many other things have not stopped. And guess what? Neither should we. We shouldn't have stopped. We should have amped up. We should have been more in a spirit of being deployed. Specifically, in the 23rd verse, we hear these words, going to highways and hedges and compel them to come that my house may be filled. Simply stated, we ought to meet people where they are and get them where they need to be. We got to meet people where they are and invite them in. Stay focused on the mission. Let's look at the word focus. I want to take this word focus and I want to break it down in a way that I hope will be simple and a way that we can interpret it and to digest it. I want to take each letter and just share some thoughts with you. Stay focused on the mission. The word focused is a word that it desires and it drives us to a point. And I pray that it will remind us as we deploy and put our various strategies to work, things will come out the way we design. Let's start with the first letter, F. Faithful. We have to remain faithful to the call. No matter what it is, no matter what's going on, we have to remain faithful to do the work. It will not be easy. You won't see certain things come overnight. It's not going to always happen the way you want it to happen, but hang in there. Let's look at the letter O. Keep an open mind. An open mind, it helps us at times where we don't see things the way they actually appear. There will be times that people that you feel should be worth engaging and you don't. And then there will be times that there are some people that you should engage that you won't. Understand what I'm saying? There are some people that we consider to be undesirables in our community, and they're not going to listen, and we're not going to talk to them. Some of our greatest work or our best ways to approach certain situations have come by being open-minded and hearing from someone, guess what, other than ourselves. We're not the only somebody that got a good thought. We're not the only somebody that has a mind to think. And we have to keep an open mind if we care to dare to deploy, to go out and to inspire others. We got to realize that it's not our own thoughts that's going to get us there, but it's a collective thought of others. The next letter in this word is C. We have to remain committed, family. Committed. Committed again. This is not a one and done type of work. Unfortunately, some people think this is like going to a job, punching the clock, and that's it. You get your job done, you got your pay, you go home, relax, and you repeat. No, this work requires commitment. It requires you going above and beyond the call of duty. It requires you to commit to being consistent. One of our greatest failures as we go out and do this work is that we're not consistent because we think we have to do certain things a certain way in order for it to be effective. I'm going to encourage you today when it comes to being deployed to do the work, just get up and go and do it. And keep doing what you're doing until you get better at whatever that is, but staying humble along the way. Wherever you decide to go and whatever service you decide to render, stay committed to it. Don't allow challenges to take you off course. Certainly, they're going to come and they're going to be there and they're going to try to rock your foundation. Let's look at the you. Understanding. Let's first be clear about something. We got to understand each other. The Bible tells us that we have to learn how to what? Come and reason with one another. We have to understand each other. And the only way to really understand one another is to get out there with each other. And then we build relationship and we come alongside with one another. And then that's how we effectively are able to be deployed into the work that we do. Also, make sure you understand, and I need us to hear me clearly here, the ones that you thought would be with you or should be with you may not be with you as you execute your strategy. Let me say that again. The ones that you thought should be with you or would be with you may not be with you as you execute your strategy. God will send you the help you need if you simply go, AKA deploy. Remember what he told Paul and Elijah. He said he had people ready to serve, but we must go and compel them to come. A lot of times we feel alone in this work and we feel like we're struggling to get this thing done and we cannot go as far as we think we should. But there are many organizations. There are local churches. There is the Chicago Police Department. There are residents, and they have the same desires as you do to get connected. My encouragement to you today is stay connected. Stay connected. Speaking of serving and trying to get there, let's look at this letter S, because our goal is to serve. Let's take a page out of the appliances, right? The appliances. Appliances don't serve themselves, and every one of us here have an appliance in our home. Now, I need you to hear this. Appliances don't serve themselves. Toasters don't eat the bread they toast. Refrigerators don't cool the food for their own purpose to eat it. Stoves don't eat the food that they cook. A microwave doesn't digest the food that it radiates. Can openers don't eat what's in the can that they're going to open. Appliances are there to serve somebody else. I wish I heard one or two people put into the chat. Appliances are not there to serve themselves. Maybe you should say it this way. I am not here to serve myself. I am here to serve others. We benefit from the calling because we are here to serve somebody else. God had assigned you to a divine purpose, and your fulfillment of that purpose should result in the benefit to others. If you're here to do it for you, I'm going to have to talk with you a little bit later because the things that I want to say might not be conducive to this conversation. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. We are here to serve other people. We are here to give our best to other people, and we are here to go above and beyond, not just to get or gain for ourselves. Listen, when you take care of God's business, he'll take care of yours. So just say serve, 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 serve. And when you get tired of serve, get up and serve, serve, serve some more. Obviously, that's my best part right there because I love serving. Let's look at E.
Amen.
Because in your serving, you have to keep an eternal perspective. See, we can get messed up in our serving, keeping an eternal perspective. Remember, our goal is to fill his house. Now, I know I'm about to hurt either some feelings, as I say in Mount Olivet, pull your shoes back a little bit because your toes might get stepped on, or leave your feet in the aisle because it's probably good that our toes get stepped on now and then. Listen, keeping an eternal perspective, remember, our goal is to fill his house, not our pockets. I just want to take 2 seconds for that to soak. Our goal is to fill his house, not our pockets, not our egos, not our personal agendas. As you deploy, always stop and assess yourself on whether or not your perspective is still focused on the eternal. Always do a litmus test. Always check. Let's look at the last letter, but certainly not least. The last letter, but certainly not least. Be determined. Be determined. Some time ago, I was walking downtown and I paused to look at a lifelike mannequin. And it was in the store, and I quickly realized that she wasn't a mannequin at all because she blinked. She almost fooled me though, because everything else about her was stationary. Other people began gathering in front of the window, and they attempted to get her to break her concentration. People were making faces and making fun of her and knocking on the window and just doing anything they could to get her to move. But she held her ground. There was something more important than pleasing folks on the other side of the glass. What was more important than pleasing folks on the other side of the glass was pleasing her employer, who was paying her to stand at that window. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Just bear with me. For when you live a focused life, a life untouched by worldliness, meaning uninfluenced by worldly things like filling our pockets, personal agendas, goals, and objectives of ourselves, you're going to have to ignore the folks on the other side of the glass. Ignore the people that say we can't. Ignore the people that say we shouldn't. Ignore the people that make excuses. Ignore your inner thoughts of lack of and those nagging reminders of your inability. Keep your focus on your employer, who is the creator of all things, who knoweth all things, and giveth all things. Keep having night church, family. Keep having prayer walks, family. Keep the torch held up in high, 100 blocks, 100 churches. Keep the peace circles going, family. Keep up the mobilizations, family. Keep going, even if it's just one or two of y'all. Keep standing on the corner. When you need to make an adjustment, but that adjustment should be never to stop. Keep going, whether it's one or many. Because remember, hey, and I don't have to preach to y'all today. It say one to send 1,000 in flight, 2, 10,000. So what happens when 3 of us get together? Man, we can move some stuff in our city. If just 3 people stay committed, if 3 people stay focused, if 3 people get deployed, if 3 people keep running, if 3 people stay focused on a mission and be determined to do the work, go into the highways and byways. Compel others to come. Get outside of your comfort zone. Stop being concerned about what people are saying and what people are doing against the work. Listen, if you were good at it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. You should always be challenging yourself to do something you don't have no clue what you're doing. You don't have no idea how to get it done. You don't know when you should start. You don't know where you should go. Those are some real workers right there. Those are some real deployment agents right there. Those are some people who have their mindset on being faithful. Those are some people who keep an open mind. Amen. Those are some people who stay committed to the work. Those are some people who understand it's not going to be easy, but if anybody could do it, we certainly will be doing it. That means we got to do it even when we don't feel like it. Do it when things are tough. Do it when it don't feel comfortable. You have to serve. You have to be led by the Spirit to serve. You have to be focused on doing that. Make sure that you got your mindset on the expectancy of Christ and the things that he will deliver to you. You have to continue to set your minds and affections on things of him. And remember, as you're going along the way, that you have eternal perspective, and then stay determined, family. Above all, be determined. Keep having all those things. Keep doing what you've been doing. No matter what's going on around you, the work is there. So the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. We don't have to compete because there's a church on every corner. Somebody say that to us. We don't have to compete. I always said God must be strategic because he knew it was so much work out here. We needed a church on every corner. So I'm not going to argue with him. Point that I'm trying to make is get out of competition with one another and get into compliance with each other. Align our efforts with each other. Don't fight with each other. Fight with the enemy. We have a hidden enemy and we have a very present enemy. Fight with them. Hold each other up in prayer. Continue to walk by faith and not by sight. Go into the highways and hedges. Compel them to come. You all have what you need. Everyone has what they need. I was told a long time ago as a young pastor, as a young minister, you say everything you need is already in the church. It's already in the ministry. It's already there. It just has to be bloomed. It has to be cultivated. It has to be awakened. And everything we need, we have in our city. We have every resource. We have every relationship. We just have to get there. So everything you need is there. Here's another thing I want to leave you with. As you travel on the road, you're going to run into the things you need. If you're sitting at home waiting for the resources and the events and the relationships to come, they're going to go somewhere else. You got to get out and get on the road and travel and walk and move and go. And when you do that, God will run people right into you. He'll set you up for those resources. He'll set you up for those relationships. Stay focused on the mission, family. No matter what happens, stay focused on the mission.